This is Fixing Famous People, the podcast where two reality television producers pitch solutions to save celebrities in dire straits.
But first, let's get to the Pre-Fixe, your weekly pop culture roundup.
Oh, we are going to talk Golden Globes with our awards correspondent, Rebecca Bregman, shortly. A wonderful show and so many things to talk about.
I'm full of things to say.
Cups runneth over.
They sure do runneth over.
And it was actually a pretty prolific week pop culturally. But before we get to that, I want to start with this because I've been told in conversation by several people and by several articles I've seen online that the Luigi Mangione story has peaked and that we shouldn't be talking about it anymore. And I say poo-poo to that because I go on the TikToks and I see that there is a group of people that is turning Luigi Mangione into Nelson fucking Mandela. Anyone who thinks that this story is over, I think you're going to be disappointed because no matter what side you fall on, he is being presented as a folk hero and will continue to be in the years to come.
First of all, don't tell us what to talk about. One, period. I'm in a mood today, and so this is what you're getting. Don't tell us what we can and cannot speak about on our own fucking podcast. One.
That's directed directly at that person that gave that 3-star review for saying we talk about Wicked too much.
Number two. What I don't like is when people are like, oh, it's over. And it's like, no. I would go to the trial if I could to hear the arguments of like why he thinks he's not guilty and blah, blah, blah. Like we haven't even started with this.
It's not over.
It won't be over until he's in jail rotting, or even then the Hernandez brothers were celebrities in 2024. That happened. I don't even know if I was alive when they went to prison.
Don't you tell us what story's over. In 2 minutes, we're about to do a brand new story about George Santos. Don't you tell us who's over, bitch.
Oh, I wish we were wrong about that, but sadly we're right.
Sadly we're not. But getting back to Luigi, I'm going through the post this afternoon and this story comes up. Luigi Mangione retains Harvey Weinstein's prison consultant, Craig Rothfeld. And I almost fell down. I went to high school with Craig Rothfeld, elementary school, middle school, and high school.
What? Tell us everything.
First of all, I had a giant crush on him my entire childhood.
Who is this man?
His name is Craig Rothfeld. He is a prison consultant, and he's been hired.
What does that mean?
Just like prepares him for what the first 90 days
is what's going to happen when you go on the inside.
And through the whole system, and this is his job. But let me tell you, first of all, Craig.
Dominic,
yeah?
Can we get him on the podcast?
Why? Well, I would literally get.
Do you have his cell phone number? I feel like you're.
No, but I can get in touch with him. I mean, I haven't spoken to him since high school, and he, from what I know, a couple of years ago went to jail for financial crimes. He's in the financial. I couldn't even articulate what.
Row to quote Felicity herself.
He spent, I believe, a few years in jail and then turned that lemon into lemonade. So came out.
I can tell you what you're gonna need.
And now this is his business, and he started making the rounds on the internet a few years ago because he was Harvey Weinstein's prison consultant.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Still attractive, by the way. I wonder if he's still married. Do you think maybe his wife left him when he went to jail and then he had a change of life in there? Hi, Craig, remember me? Oh, he owns his own business? Oh, that's one foot in the door.
He's way too old for you, but
honestly, I've never made out with someone my age. Disgusting. So anyway, he's making the rounds now. And so this is his thing. And now he's Luigi. So obviously I'm going to have to get in touch with Craig somehow and let him know that he is now unofficially our link to Luigi Mangione.
and
I haven't spoken to him in 35 years.
I need to know what kind of prep he's giving him. Like, because for Luigi, he's like, you better bring a baseball bat in there because you're going to have to be batting him away because they're going to be all over
shit. You. Or is the baseball bat to loosen himself up because come hell or high water, you're not getting out of prison without having your being deflowered. As it were, without having your baguette buttered, as it were, or
I don't even know what will happen to him in prison. Well, I guess we have to. Again, I'm ready to be at the courthouse. I mean, it's going to be here. So in theory, we're in proclivity to like be able to get there.
We're in proclivity.
So like we could get there if we needed to, you know?
Yes. This is it. So anyone who went to Oceanside High School with me, who grew up with me in Oceanside, please get me in touch with Craig Rothfeld. By the way, we come from the same place. This man goes to prison. You'd think your life would be over. Instead, he gets out and now runs his own business. He's on the front of the Post. I barely have a parking ticket, and I'm here every week getting $5 a month from people to tell jokes about Brandy Glanville's face. Where have I gone wrong? Craig, don't just call me, marry me.
Meanwhile, you've worked in entertainment your entire adult life, and this is where you are. Oh, God.
Moving right along.
We are to laugh as not to cry.
Speaking, by the way, speaking of people who just can't and won't go away, who knew that Matt Gaetz and George Santos was the Laurel and Hardy that we never needed?
No less than 75 people have sent me this clip.
75 dozen. You're being absolutely conservative. Matt Gaetz has this show on OAN, or is it pronounced OWN? Is it like to make fun of Oprah's network? Who knows? OWN. He's got a show on there. Matt Gaetz notoriously has had like bad injectables and doesn't know a powder puff from a mascara brush.
The worst facelift you've ever seen in your whole life.
Terrible. George Luis Santos goes on this show, and Matt Gaetz is getting makeup tips from George Santos. The stereotype of gay men knowing about makeup, I don't give a shit about that. The fact that having seen George Santos in drag, that anyone would ask him for makeup tips is the true preposterity here. Is that a word? The true preposterousness?
No.
Are we making up words here?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Whatever. It's the worst.
Are you
part.
okay?
I think I'm having a stroke live on the podcast. Okay. Reverse Can you give a trigger warning afterwards?
No.
Trigger warning strokes.
Trigger warning after having a stroke.
That's how a person giving a stroke gives a trigger warning. They give the trigger warning 10 seconds later.
Dear God, Dominic. Okay. Someone commented and they were like, oh, so drag queens do groom people. So I was dying.
That's Hilaria.
And then the funniest thing is that George Santos is like, don't do this, don't do that. And Matt Gaetz just starts going, I have deep set eyes. I have deep set eyes. Like, you know, he looks in the mirror and is like, God, if I was only like more attractive,
he's
like
had a consultation.
Yeah,
he's had a consultation.
He had a facelift.
Yeah.
I mean, his eyebrows are in 2 different time zones. God, the thing that's so funny is like, George Santos should no person should allow him to like still be on any kind of platform that has anything to do with politics ever, period. And Matt Gaetz is like, come on down.
They were sort of made for each other.
Yeah.
I believe this story ends with the two of them getting married.
Probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or getting caught doing something.
Getting caught somewhere.
Like the way Matt Gaetz is going to get out of these sexual harassment charges with women is to just be seen publicly making out with George Santos.
Yeah. And his husband that doesn't exist.
That image actually made me not gay for 5 seconds. Disgusting. Please don't do that. I never want to see it. So we taped the Pre-Fixe a day before you guys hear it. Last week, of course, we did it 2 days in advance out of respect for us needing to socialize on New Year's Eve. And naturally on New Year's Eve, like a 1-2 punch, Justin Baldoni starts suing the New York Times, and 10 seconds later, Blake Lively starts suing Justin Baldoni for sexual harassment. It was the wildest New Year's Eve celebrity 1-2 punch that has ever happened. I talk about a story that's not going to go away. I truly thought Justin Baldoni would retreat for a bit. He's like, no, Happy New Year, bitch.
We're in Dominic, my favorite thing in the whole world, a classic he said, she said. They are like, he's like, I raise you this lawsuit, New York Times, AKA Blake Lively. And then she's like, oh, in the first line of your lawsuit, you point out that I only filed this weird thing that like is like, please allow me to sue this person's lawsuit. And because he's like, oh, because then she won't have to be like deposed. She's like, okay, never mind. I'm just going to sue you. Like,
Yeah,
she's like, oh, you tried to call me out? Okay, here. I'm going to do exactly what you are begging me to do, is just outright sue you.
She's been ready for any scenario, or as my friend Wendy pronounces it, scenario. She has been ready for all the scenarios. It's been...
I mean, and the mud keeps on slinging. Because it's so funny.
Yeah, you've read the whole thing. I read
most of his and most of hers. I will say he comes back and is like, the thing that's funny is that he's not suing her. He's suing the New York Times.
Right.
So it's like, but then he basically says like all this thing of like, she used this filing to like sling all this mud on me without having to get her hands dirty. Right. And then he's like, which is disgusting. And then he does the exact same thing, which is sue someone else. And then in all of the like, backstory of like why he should have money from this lawsuit is like because Blake is like a dirty slut, and like here's all these like horrible things that she did like and threw her power around as Blake Lively, A-list actor, and like wrenched this movie out of my hands. Do you know what I mean?
I wonder. Yeah, I do. I wonder if the two of them are gonna like, they'll play chicken like this, but I wonder if there's gonna come a point where the two of them are like, we're doing like a horrendous amount of damage to each other. Let's just quiet it down and not go.
No.
Crazy.
I think it's like bloodbath. Like where like one of them must die at the end. Like this is Gladiator now. You don't do this 1-2 punch like this and then be like, never mind. Oops.
He surprised me. I will say that this to me was a surprise. I thought he was absolutely done for. I thought that he was instantly of course they all released statements, etc. I thought that though in the big picture he was beaten into submission. Not so. He is fuck you. I'm going to sue the New York Times. It's like suing planet Earth for rain. Like what are you doing?
The things that he puts up there, like he's like, oh, these text messages that woman read in that like video on the New York Times. Here's the next text message where they say like, this wasn't us that put this story out there. Like, I will say, like, if you're reading them and you believe whatever they're telling you, do you know what I mean? If you're like, okay, this is what's like correct because they're filing it in this court thing, like, he's kind of right. Like, it's like,
no, he tatted every tit. As
like
yeah, for sure. It was a tit.
He's like, no, you like excluded this like other text message that was the next one that said that like we didn't do this, or like something clarifying why this was this way. Now, did he address all the things that Blake said in her thing about him? No. So like he's not coming out on top of this at all. But I will say, I'm like, oh shit, there's no winners here. And I don't think there's any. Everyone's like, whose side are you on? And I'm like, no one's. I think that they're both at fault for different things. And I think we need to have a lawyer on, and I think we need to do an a la carte where we just like, talk to an expert and be like, let's break this down. Because of course there's the court of public opinion stuff, but then there's also like, well, what actually are you suing each other for? And let's like get down to brass tacks of that. That is another layer.
Ooh, I wonder if Craig Rothfeld is also somehow an attorney.
Can he be available to like talk? Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great?
Oh my God.
Imagine this guy from high school that I haven't spoken to in literally decades just becomes a correspondent on our show. Becomes boots on the ground for all.
Becomes our way to like write Luigi Mangione letters in prison.
Right. And then he falls in love with me on this podcast. And so it's like my literally my kindergarten crush becomes my husband.
Oh my God.
Because of Luigi Mangione.
What is wrong with us?
And then we later have a 3-way with Luigi Mangione.
Dear God in heaven, Dominic.
Oh, I love fiction. So speaking of fiction, let's look at Meghan Markle's teaser for her new television show. It finally came out, I believe, on New Year's Day. Along with her, she popped up on Instagram saying Happy New Year and drawing a heart in the sand, just sort of running on the beach. And she's not been on the socials for just about 5 years. So she popped up, and then this trailer for her new lifestyle show dropped.
And Dominic, it drops on the same day that we will be fixing her in our 100th episode. Coincidence? I think not.
When I tell you that there was maybe 1 nanosecond where I was going to call you and say, maybe we should wait a week and look at the lifestyle special before we fix her again. But then I watched the trailer and I thought to myself, I already know what every episode of this shit is. Tip two-tail, and I already know how I want to fix her based on the trailer.
Yes, yeah. And like, will we be 1,000,000% right about everything we say about it? Yes. I watch her pour olive oil onto hummus and then spin it around. Bitch. Like, how dare you try to troll us right now? I'm working on a Food Network show right now, okay? Like, you stupid bitch. Like,
she's learned no lessons
not
in
one.
the past 5 years.
I can't wait.
A single fucking lesson. She's thinking in her head, I'm going to show the world who I really am. And we're like, girl, we already knew. It turns out we already knew.
P.S. Will I be watching that show, like, eyes peeled, mouth agape, like, as if it is, like, mind-numbingly watch it, like, every single frame of it? Absolutely 100%.
If I knew that it was only going to air one time at 3 a.m. in the middle of a relative's funeral, I would watch it.
Correct.
This may be for me in 2025. This might be more important than like Cher appearing on Regis. Like, it might be more important.
Yes. Oh, God. I mean, dare I say she's a listener? Because she knows when we're...
Oh, God, it would be great. There's other Meghan news this week. So Netflix is apparently, and I don't know every detail, but they're part of the brand. Like, they're now officially part of the brand launch. And apparently Netflix and Cupcake Vineyards launched a limited edition Chardonnay called Love is Wine last year as a companion to go with Love is Blind. Yeah, so it's sort of along those lines. Like, they're gonna be helping out. So we're finally gonna taste the jam, which we've been talking about this condiment for such a long time that I feel like we need to do a video special of when we get our hands on it. And
I mean, she should be sending us an influencer box of the jam.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah, let's make that happen. Real. I think we can get that to happen. And we should do a taste test. Like, we're going to put her jam next to some store jams.
And Schmucker. And OG Schmuckers, obviously.
Sure. And also, we should put a ringer in there, like a jar of like bird shit. I'll go scrape it off the street.
I was going to say off the railing Josie and caviar. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. This is really smart for her. Because it's like keeps her overhead really low. It's very Bethany of her in a good way.
Right.
Like, it is very smart because she doesn't have to get her hands dirty with any of the like manufacturing of any of this stuff. But we all remember the last time she tried to do something like this, and it was with Spotify, and they kicked her to the curb and basically said, like, didn't the CEO say, like, I'm scarred for life from having to deal with her?
Yeah, she probably needs Netflix to sell all this shit so she can pay Spotify their money back.
Yeah. So will she fumble this one? We'll see. I've yet to see her succeed at any of these business ventures. So,
well, I mean, she did marry Harry. She ruined him, but
that was easy. Please,
yeah.
She's gorgeous and was like, "Oh, you want to run away from your family? Come right here." You hate everyone in your family, and are writing a book about how much you fucking hate them. Yeah, she's like, okay, yeah.
Speaking of her family, we have one last schmucker story. Her dad, who is 80, who lives in Mexico, has announced he's not decided where yet, but he needs to move across the world for a fresh start. He's thinking Southeast Asia.
For what? Oh, God, I fucking hate this.
Please.
Fuck him.
I don't know.
Fuck him.
Also, he's honestly 80. You need a fresh start at 80?
Yeah,
what you need is a fresh end at 80.
Wrap it up is what we need to do.
You're not Cher, Thomas Markle. No. You're not. Like, stop it.
It's so sad because her mom was so great. Like, her mom did everything right. And then every other member of her family like came out of the woodwork to just like be like Michael Lohan's like predecessor.
Can I tell you, and we'll talk about this when we refix her again in 2 weeks, it's next week, right? Oh God, it is next week. Yeah. God, our 100th episode is next week, Christopher. Yes. We got to talk about that.
Yes, Dominic.
Fix, she never wanted him there. Like, he could have done anything. Literally, like, he could have said, I'm wearing a green tie instead of a blue one, and she would have called him and said, don't come. Like, she just didn't want him there because she was a princess. Her mother was like regal, and he's Thomas Markle.
No, and he's going to the New York Post to be like, I need to move across the world at 80 years old. Like,
totally. But like, she never wanted him there.
This wasn't the first or last time he was pulling bullshit on her. Let's just say that. She's not an idiot.
The test when he dies, she needs to make it right with him before he dies, because
she does.
If he dies and they have not made amends, she'll never recover from that. Never.
I don't know if she cares, Dominic.
She's got to care.
I don't know if she cares.
Nah, everyone with a television show cares about public opinion. She's got jelly to sell. She cares. She cares.
Yes, is the jam, like, I've been like working it out in my mind. I'm like, the jam is like one of the segments on this show. And then she just started, and when they filmed it in March of last year, probably, she then gave the jam away. And then we ran with the thought that she was like making a jam empire.
Right.
Is that what actually happened? I think so.
Yeah. Well, the bottom line is this was shot so long ago that if you do buy Duchess of Schmucker's jam, you should check the expiration date because this has been going on for a while. I know some of y'all don't put jelly in the refrigerator either, which I think is an invitation to bacteria, but you do.
Yeah, you're gonna need to refrigerate hers.
You're gonna need to refrigerate this fucking, like, it's been sitting in a cupboard in Montecito for about 14 months already. Some good gay news. Patti LuPone is going to be on Sex and the City season 3. She's going to be playing the mother of some adjunct character. But when I tell you, Christopher, that I was just stoned enough when I heard this news that for a full 5 minutes, I believed that she was just going to be the new Samantha on Sex and the City. And I was riveted. I was like, imagine? This is the best fucking news I've ever heard. Can you imagine to be like showing up at brunch? Hey, gals, I'm wearing an eye patch because Smith shot a load on my face today. How about a round of Cosmos?
Oh my
I mean,
God.
I want Patti LuPone to play Samantha now. That's how we solve all these problems.
Oh my God. She'd be
like, Patti LuPone impersation sound like a 1930s gangster.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I don't know what it was. I'm
like sorry, a frog in a trench coat. Hey, gals. That doesn't sound anything like that.
She's like, oh, I hate it. Like, she's very like, ah. Like, you know what I mean? She's not very like full of rage all the time.
I really don't do a good Patti LuPone.
She's going to be in like 3. Okay. Here's my other thing. This is now Michael Patrick King. You're getting Ryan Murphy disease. Stop like casting all these people just because you want to like work with them in one episode.
Rosie
She's going to be the mom of the large penised Italian poet that
Mario Cantone
is like being anal fissured by.
Right.
Remember the end of the season was him like lubing up and like taking it. Like that was like literally his final scene.
I bet this was Patti LuPone's idea. I bet she got drunk on New Year's Eve and ran into Michael Patrick King. And she was like, you know what? Make me the big dick guy's mother.
And they were like, of course, we'll do whatever you want. Yeah, that was better. That was
a little bit better. I got to scream.
Again, much like Meghan's whatever life's quote unquote lifestyle show, will I be watching every single frame?
Of course.
And just like that. Yes, of course I will.
And by the time it airs, my Patti LuPone impersonation
will be so good.
Yeah. Hey, remember when Smith ate sushi out of my hoo-ha?
I wish she was just one of the women. Like if it was just like her, it was like the 3 of them, Seema, and then like Lisa Todd Wexley, and then a new one that's Patti LuPone. That's
maybe this is how it happens. Maybe this is one of those Hollywood fairy tales where I was supposed to be on one episode and then I took over the show. God, would that be great?
Like, oh, Mario,
make her Samantha for fuck's sake. Just do it. I mean, I know it's bonkers, but
you're trying to do a thing.
I'm not. Make her Samantha. It would be great. I'm not going to impersonate her anymore, but I will every week until we're done. Yeah,
she could be in there. I'd love to have her in there at breakfast, being like, "Oh, can I tell you that we went to a diner like after my friend's wedding, and we all were getting like omelets and stuff, and it was like very much like." Whenever they're having those brunch scenes in the original Sex and the City. And Eric, whenever we all got our food, we went to go eat and Eric just pulls up his coffee and goes, so my yoga instructor was doing me when we were like dying laughing. Because it really was like all those plates of food.
That is so funny. Christina Aguilera's impersonation of Samantha Jones on Saturday Night Live is something you should Google. It is absolutely legendary. Christina as Kim Cattrall.
I've never seen it.
Oh, wow. You're going to be like, whatever, this is okay. But think at the time, it was the first time. I mean, it was probably, it's got to be 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But Christina impersonating Kim Cattrall was just, Christina's so talented. Anyway, I didn't lead with this on purpose because this individual now just gives me only bad energy. I don't know why I've turned on her so. She used to be like, haha, funny to me. Now I'm just like, you're pathetic, and I think you should be gone from pop culture.
Dominic, the word is pathetic.
how do you even say this? I'll just read the headline as the Daily Mail printed it.
Please do.
Hilaria Baldwin forgets the English word onions while making a traditional Spanish dish for the holidays. Who are these people?
She's begging us to talk about her again. Begging. On her knees, begging for people to come for her.
Is this her way, her like reverse press way of getting people excited about their new reality show?
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
Like, hey guys, I'm still here and I'm still fucking preposterous. So get ready for 8 episodes of this summer. Maybe.
She thinks that this is like funny. Do you know what I mean? Like she thinks this is like, oh, haha, like what's this word? 100%.
I wasn't pretending to be Spanish. I just said mommy brain. Okay, Hillary. Sure you did. Right. Sure.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Just beat it. Beat it, Baldwins.
Beat it. I like don't have anything else to say about her because we've destroyed her 9 times over here. But it's just like, no, like she's not campy. It's not like a fun meme. It's just like, this fucking lunatic idiot is doing this again. Like, and she thinks she's being like cheeky and fun.
Isn't it? Aren't I hilarious? No. It's called race baiting. What you're doing is blackface. You should stop it. You have 17 children to be an example for, you dum-dum.
Yeah, she's a loser. She's a loser. Like, she's such a loser. Like, just a loser, you know?
Someone who is not a loser is Heidi Klum. It is announced this week that she will be returning to Project Runway. This caused a bit of a stir in our group chat.
How many times will this show be? This and RuPaul's Drag Race have like lived 17 lives.
Well, we are literally on season 17 of Drag Race, but it continues to be, at least in the circles I travel in and the internet algorithms I'm a part of, it continues to be a major cultural force. I know you don't partake in it that much, but.
Well, I did watch the first part of the premiere and I saw our girl Katie on there. But yeah, Heidi Klum coming back to Runway. I mean,
that in a moment.
It's crazy that Runway, and it's coming back to Hulu, right?
I think so. Now, here's the thing. I didn't even know that the show was still on the air. And you tell me, it's gone.
Not. It was gone, and I thought it was gone forever. Like the last season that they did, like was 2 years ago, I want to say, and I was like, oh well, that was it. Like it was over. Like
I thought this was like a Tyra thing where she was taking over an existing show, just coming back. Oh, interesting. So they're like taking it out of a coffin to put it back on television.
Yes, well, I bet. Well, it was only a couple years ago. It wasn't like 2015.
But still, I mean, that's great publicity. I mean, they're just like resurrecting it from the ground up. Like that's sort of more exciting than I thought it was.
No, I think, and I think that Prime did not renew their Making the Cut show. That had like 3 seasons and then it went away.
Right.
So she was kind of like probably got let out of her contract with Prime. And so she was like a free agent. I mean, everyone still watches the show.
Well, that's my question. Like, did they, even in the end, were people still watching it?
I think so. Not like, I mean, it wasn't like the highest rated show in the world, but people were still interested. I mean, I wonder what will happen if like they're going to redo the whole thing or if it's just
it'll be a hit. See, I didn't know that part of it. I think it'll be a hit. There's this Netflix show that's hosted by Tan France and
it only got 2 seasons.
I have to tell you, I watched both seasons. It was quite good. It was really quite good. It was like Project Runway, but with what appeared to be an insane budget.
Yeah.
It just looked so expensive. I mean, essentially it was only shot in one room. So the fact that it looked more expensive is weird, but it was a great show. I wish that would come back.
It was called Next in Fashion.
Yes.
I interviewed to be a producer on the 2nd season, but did not get the show.
Because you didn't wear that long denim coat from Zero Waste.
Yeah, no. And no. Even though they said I was perfect for it and then they never even emailed me back. So that's on
I would like that show to come back. You know what I would also like to come back is the body painting show, the body painting competition show, Skin Wars.
Oh, brother.
Skin Wars. This was on for, I think, 3 seasons. RuPaul was a judge on it. Rebecca Romaine was the host. And it was fierce. Like it was.
I remember enjoying it.
I don't understand why that show didn't come back.
It's too niche.
I guess, but it was
the model is like that early 2000s. It's that Project Runway model of like, here's this
100%.
thing, but it's just so niche
still
of like
love that
body
stuff.
painters.
I know they
what's
got to
crazy?
think of a
That's-
way to switch it up the way the Great British
Yeah.
Baking Show did.
You know what's so funny is like Ink Masters is like still on. Is still a show.
I know.
That, like so many people.
I thought
watch.
Project
It's
Runway was
crazy.
in the same boat. Really?
No, once they turned it into the Kristen Siriano and what's her name, Carly Kloss show. Like that went on for what, 4 or 5 seasons, and then Bravo was like, we're done.
Let's move on. We've already mentioned her.
Speaking
But
of people
Katy
I'm
Perry,
done with.
Katy Perry was she was the judge on the season premiere of RuPaul's Drag Race. Obviously, when they shot this last summer, people thought that Katy Perry's album that she had released last year was going to be a monster, and that the now much maligned and mocked song Superwoman would have been a hit.
Woman's World.
Why did I write Superwoman? Anyway, Woman's World. I'm surprised I forgot that because I remembered the time being pissed because that was the name of a Cher single that she released a few years ago. Anyway, the final lip sync was to Woman's World. And as I'm watching the lip sync, I thought that everyone who worked there probably thought this was going to be a big hit. And jail
to RuPaul for like thinking that this song was going to be a hit. It's a terrible song. Jail to everyone that works on that show. Jail. Goodbye.
Well, RuPaul, if you are going to jail for these crimes that Chris has accused you of, I know a prison consultant named Craig Lawfeld, and I would like the inside track with the two of you to appear on this podcast.
People should be rising up in, revolt that she was on this. She was so bad on it. And she's like, look at my heel. It's a penis. Wah, wah. Like she was like, look, gays, I like you. I'm also gay, but a woman. It was like the worst. It was one of the worst hosting things I've ever seen.
It was the worst. She was one of the worst judges I've seen on that show. They tried to have a heartwarming moment because a super fan was on the show. It didn't work. It didn't work. And I will tell you that this is true of many celebrities, as everyone listening knows, is that, in real life, sometimes you just shouldn't see a celebrity in real life. You should just see them doing their art and occasionally doing a talk show appearance, not something like this. She's just one of those people. And look, she's got billions of fans. I don't feel idiotic saying this though. It's like she shouldn't do the in-person stuff. It doesn't work for her anymore.
Dominic, it's never worked for her.
American Idol did not work for her. This is not working. Like, don't just do your songs. We discussed this on this podcast. Your canon is more impressive than people ever realize. Stay on tour, put on your firecracker boobies, do that thing. Stay away from RuPaul's Drag Race. Don't do it.
Anywho.
Did you see this video of Ice-T getting pulled over for expired registration and going off on the cop because he was driving to the DMV to get the registration done? They go at it. Like they're screaming at him. Well, really? Ice-T screaming at the cop. Yeah, it's hilarious. Where is it not hilarious? That the artist behind the album Cop Killer is screaming at a cop, or that same person's portrayed Sergeant Odafin Tutuola on television for 25 years after the Cop Killer album. But we love Ice-T and Coco, and you're also welcome on this podcast. We have a little bit of an in memoriam this week. I apologize. Trigger warning. Deaths of all kind. Aubrey Plaza's husband, Jeff Baena, passed away, which is terrible.
Like a shock.
Just terrible. Obviously, there's not a lot of details. We do know that he took his own life, and she released a very short statement 2 days ago just saying this is unimaginable and we're not going to be talking about it. But terrible. Who doesn't? I knew nothing about her relationship with him or that she was married. I only found out she was married when the alert came over that her husband had passed away. But especially the past few years, who doesn't love Aubrey Plaza? Speaking of Patti LuPone, good Lord, she's like the world's biggest Patti LuPone fan.
Well, and like she's had such a good thing, and they did all these. It was like her directorial debut was like his script that he wrote or something like that. It was like they were clearly like so enmeshed with each other's like artistry and stuff. It's like really sad. Yeah.
You'll never know the why of a situation like that, but just,
it's just sad.
As someone who co-hosts a podcast where I regularly make fun of people's appearance choices and lives, I'm going to now tell you, you should be kind to each other. Okay, let's move right along. Mike Rinder, who co-hosted Scientology and the Aftermath with Leah Remini, has passed away.
Devastated. by this. Loved him.
You were a big fan of this whole.
I loved that show.
Yeah.
It was crazy because he used to be the guy that would like be the front facing face of, he was like the PR rep for Scientology and would like be the person fighting journalists and then like switch sides and then was with Leah and like she didn't have a show without him. And so it's like even just outside of him, like what we know about all the shit that goes on is like because of him, like flipping and like telling us for real. My friend Kayla like loves him. And so when I saw it, I sent it to her and she was like, I'm so upset. Like it was a blow.
Yes, Leah Remini says in no uncertain terms, this man saved my life.
Yeah.
So RIP to him. I won't read it here, but he did write a statement before he passed away. A lengthy and lovely statement just saying, you know, if you're reading this, I'm gone. Basically, like, please keep taking down Scientology. Like, and his final words were, my work's not done yet. Please go on. And so I think we'll do a mid-broadcast version of this, but where's Shelley?
Yeah. Where is she?
If you know, call Leah Remini or us and we'll call her.
Could he never mind.
Could he what?
I don't know.
Do you think he's going to communicate with us from the afterlife if Shelley is there?
Maybe.
Oh, you want medium Dame Aaron Bagwell to ask him?
We may have to throw a lifeline out there. 6 months from now, just be ready, guys.
Can we play God like this? Well, yeah, I mean, we're having...
Of course we will. We'll try. Without
giving too much information, even though we've already given it, Princess Diana is pretty much going to be a guest on next week's show. So we're going to...
There you go.
We are going to play God, actually. The Vivian, the winner of the very first season of RuPaul's Drag Race UK, passed away this week. Absolutely devastated. This was an iconic queen. From all accounts, her death
32 years old too, right? She was like young.
And had done so much shit, like won the first season and never stopped working for like 1 hour. In between, she had her own tour. She had a WoW show. She toured with Wizard of Oz there. Like she came third place on Stars Dancing on Ice or something for the UK version. Yeah, she was a workhorse and an icon and like super, super talented. And if you ever look at any of the clips of her on Drag Race, like her roasts or especially her All-Star season and her impersonation of Donald Trump, she was super duper talented, like true all-around entertainer. 32. Jesus. Meredith Vieira's husband, Richard Cohen, has passed away. He battled MS for 50 years, and that and he were a huge part of Meredith's brand and her appeal because she was always very open about living with someone with a disability. And it just became a part of why we all fell in love with her. So we send our love to her. And when as some of you know, I love her. I mean, I love her to death. When I used to do the warm up at The View, she was the favorite. Like, I can't speak for everyone who's ever worked there, but she was absolutely my favorite. Just one of the warmest talent I've ever met, genuinely so. And so we send our love to her family. In the strangest coincidence ever, someone related to Harry and William, not by blood, but someone who they grew up with, passed away in that horrific terror attack in New Orleans on New Year's Eve / New Year's Day. I guess their nannies...
Oh, I didn't realize that the nanny, that's what happened. Oh my God.
So their nanny's stepson was one of the 14 people that was mowed down by that asshole on January 1st.
Oh, it's the step. Okay, got it.
Yes, I think it was initially reported that it was the nanny, but it was the nanny's stepson and essentially someone who like was like a childhood confidant of Harry and Will.
That's really sad.
And just a strange connection for the royal family to that tragedy. And that stuff is just so weird. I always think whenever I have a disagreement with somebody who's your age or younger, I always think that the major difference between my childhood and the childhood of the generations after me is that we didn't really grow up with the fear of like mass public violence. We really didn't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it was like the doors were always unlocked sort of thing, but like we never feared anything like that. Sure, like there are isolated incidents of people being bonkers, but this is like, you know, between like mass shootings and school shootings and shit like this is a regular thing in the news. And I feel like whenever you look at someone who's younger than you and you think, are you from another planet? Sometimes
And it's like,
you are,
Yeah.
because I didn't grow up afraid of the things that people growing up now.
I was a kid when Columbine happened, I was like a kid in school. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was a full-grown adult during what I would call the Holy Trinity would be like Columbine, the Oklahoma City bombing, and then 9/11. I feel like that was 1, 2, 3, and then all that stuff just started becoming part of our lives. Oh, this is a rare, serious moment, but it really is just weird. I was thinking about it all day after I read that story.
Yeah,
because like my friends who have kids, teenage kids, they all have they have a plan for things. Like if there's a shooting, like who to text and the school text. And it's really horrifying to hear my friends talk about it.
But not, Dominic, it's real. It's
so matter-of-factly too.
Yes. No, it's like not even a joke. Yeah, correct. It's sad that it has to be that serious.
Well, let's get on to some better news. There's a chance that Bradley Cooper's cheesesteak restaurant might be returning to the East Village. I didn't know until today that he had a cheesesteak restaurant in the East Village.
What? He doesn't. It's probably a pop-up. Yeah, East Village pop-up.
Well, all I know is that it went away and now it's probably coming back.
They all do this so they can show up and like look cool and not like a loser, which he is for not winning an Oscar for Hey, It's Lenny.
Hello, I'm Lenny. Have a cheesesteak? If he records that, or if he even writes it on a business card and puts it in the window of that pop-up, I'll eat there every day. I'll finance it. I want him to name it Lenny's Cheesesteak.
Lenny's Cheesesteaks. Lenny's Cheesesteaks. That's a Photoshop waiting to happen. Lenny's Cheesesteaks. I will say he looks great. He doesn't look as...
he just turned 50, by the way.
In this picture of him holding a platter of cheesesteaks, he looks good. And not like... Remember him and his mom's matching spray tans at the Oscars? That's gone now, and he's looking great.
He's a handsome man.
Yeah.
He's a handsome man. I'm glad that, there was a minute when we all thought he would end up with J-Lo. I'm glad for both of them that never happened.
No, that would never. No, he would be like, and then I'm going to direct this thing. She'd be like, you're a fucking little bitch.
No, they would die in a murder-suicide. There's no way. There's no way that those two people could be there's absolutely no way. Can you imagine? He'd wake up every day being like, hello, I'm Lenny. She'd be like, I'm Lenny, bitch. Like they would never get along.
I'm the original. She's like, I'm Lenny Lowe.
I'm Selena. Hi-yo.
Dear God. No, yeah, they would fight for the spotlight too much. That's what I'm saying. Like he would be like, oh, I'm like a director and I'm going to like direct I'm like this like artist. And she's going to be like, I'm an artist. Mm-hmm. Hello.
Well, I know we're not supposed to talk about Wicked on this podcast any longer, but Wicked, the Broadway musical, thanks to the success of the movie, Wicked, the Broadway musical had the highest gross of, I believe, any Broadway show in history the week between Christmas and New Year's, or perhaps the week before Christmas, because now everyone is like into it. So no Broadway show in 1 week has made more money than Wicked did last week. Congratulations. For you Apple subscription and Patreon folks, what we will be chatting about on the a la carte today. Deuce Bigalow wants an all right-wing version of The View. Good luck with that.
Goodbye.
Natalia Grace continues to crawl out of mothballs every January and then crawl back in them. We'll tell you why she's here now. Is Donatella going to be working at Versace much longer? Who knows? And we'll go through the list of the celebrities who lost the most followers.
Oh, wow. That's good. I don't know any of these. Oh, wow. Exciting. That's good. And we'll talk about how Siri is an actual criminal.
Siri may need Craig Rothfeld's services because she is a criminal. I need someone to fucking call Craig Rothfeld and tell him to reach out to me. I'm serious about this. The podcast, a hand job. God. Have Craig call me. Chris, you also have a minor / I wouldn't even say it's a minor announcement. It's just an announcement.
A lot of you have been asking, is there like, a group of, is there like a chat room that we can go to talk with the other listeners? Oh, I'm going to Dom's show in Boston. I want to, see if anyone else is going to come. We can sit together, that kind of thing. It's all over at the Patreon. And we are going to create a free Patreon chat for all members, not even just paid, with the free members as well. So please sign up for the Patreon if you want something like that. We're going to create a new free chat. I'm going to do it right now so that we have it for tomorrow.
So they don't have to pay the monthly fee to be a part of this chat.
You don't have to pay anything. You just sign up for the free Patreon tier and you'll be in it with hundreds of other people that like this podcast.
And if that doesn't wet your whistle, just head over to my Grindr profile. My screen name is just my home address, basically.
Dear God. I bet you it is. I bet you're not even joking.
It's a QR code that just gets you into my building.
Dear God.
That's my profile pic.
We have to go.
We will see you after these vital messages with awards correspondent Rebecca Bregman to talk about the Golden Globes. Live from the Bronx, Hoboken, and Manhattan, it's Fixing Famous People's Golden Globe Roundup with Chris Gerosa, Dominic Puba, and our awards correspondent, normally known as Rebecca Louise Bregman. Tonight, she is going by Kathy Bates Bumpet. Welcome, KBB.
Thank you so much.
KBB.
You guys, I love the Golden Globes. I thought it was as good as an award show could get, to be honest with you.
Except for which Seth Rogen acknowledged, I guess they were facing their back to the audience.
Oh, we'll get there. Okay. We will get there.
Okay.
I have a lot of technical notes.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we'll get there. I wrote some down. So, because we're idiots, right? We're
Why
producers.
don't we just talk about it right now?
Okay. Well, first of all, somebody in the front row had their fucking phone notifications on.
I could hear it was like ding.
Yeah, ding. Every time somebody went up and gave a speech, it was the text notifications on. And I was like, how
you could hear it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Is a EP somebody in the back not screaming their fucking heads off and shooting people in the front row? I would have died.
Well, and the thing is if the microphone was facing
That's right.
the normal way, which is like towards the back of the stage, you wouldn't hear that. But the fact that they rotated them and made them be like half with like the people in the background, that the mic is literally pointing right at the tables where then you hear people's cell phones going off.
Yes. And I thought the audio was a little... Nikki's audio was fine.
Was great.
It was the audio of the presenters was off. But you know,
I don't think it was one person. I think it was probably half the audience had their notifications on
because they're like Harrison
people are too
Ford,
afraid to say anything.
Yeah, like,
who's going to tell Harrison Ford?
Yeah,
we're lucky that it was just the normal iPhone sounds.
Yeah, and not him like
on
orgasming.
My phone. Right. Certain people text and my phone goes,
yeah, exactly.
Like that would have been great.
Or like awooga.
You know, I have the Different Strokes theme song. My bass line is Hill Street Blues for real theme song, and then it goes from there.
But do you know what I mean? Yeah, that was bad. I don't like the theater in the round that they're trying to do where they do them like looking and then you see all the people not paying attention to what they're saying in the background. Like that part of it is so bad.
Let me tell you something. I loved it because of that.
Yeah,
I was like, that's you being in the fucking room. Like you're actually seeing what's happening in the room. And it is like Cynthia and Ariana ducking because they were taking a dump for too long and Cynthia holding her dress up while they duck. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, I know someone's getting screamed at, but as a viewer, I'm like, I feel like someone's about to bring me a cocktail. Like I feel like I'm in that room.
But also like, what do they expect to happen if they shoot the audience the entire time? Like people have to go pee. You know what I mean? Like, and then the other part, did you notice this on the other? Okay, so opposite, on the one side we have our people.
Right.
And then on the opposite side, there were like the wings of the stage. And when someone was coming, when they came up and they had their little, they did their little tilt, there was always a curtain in the background. And there was always someone running over and kicking it and resetting it. It happened every award.
No.
Someone coming love, like a large man running in the background, which I'm immediately why is there someone sprinting back there? And then kicking this curtain and having it fly out and they're making sure it looks perfect. And I'm like, you're 45 seconds too late to do that.
Yeah.
Every award.
I did not notice that. That's so funny. What I did notice was when presenters were crossing each other, sometimes people would be exiting most of the time, Nikki would be exiting while someone else was entering. And I loved how close they were in proximity and looking at who was interacting with Nikki or who was interacting with the people who left the stage and who was not. Because some people were definitely like, I'm not talking to Nikki Glaser. And other people were just like super supportive and hugging.
At least give a smile. At least smile in her direction as you walk past her. I'm trying to think of the other technical things that I like that I wasn't into.
The major issue is the length of time it's taking people to walk to the stage and the absolute maze they have to go through to get there. And not just like best art direction in a Chinese television commercial. We're talking about major awards.
And nobody helping Jean Smart onto the stage. I was like, holy shit, she's going to trip and fucking fall. I would have ran from wherever I was to help her on the stage.
Yes.
She was out of breath by the time she got up there. Out of breath.
And the guy had to like vamp. The guy was like, Jean Smart's coming. Here she comes with this
and
person. Like it turned into like
her favorite book is Cat in the Hat. Cat in the Hat. Yeah.
It literally was turned into the Westminster Dog Show for like 15 seconds. It was like, and now we have the Shibis Inu dog. You know what I mean? Like it was like,
she's trotting. She's trotting.
Yeah, for real. And it's Jean Smart coming.
Yeah.
It was like real legitimate actors coming to the stage. Dominic,
do you understand that when the entire theme to Hacks played and ended before Jean Smart got on the stage?
Someone had to like tickle some ivories for a minute.
Yeah.
That was a miss. That's a miss. Like that was bad.
And it happened so many times.
Can there be
so many people?
Can there be like a satellite stage where they just get up on like a satellite stage in the back that just has a mic and a light, and then they can do their speech?
And like maybe a tube like they do at like at bank tellers in the suburbs where you like stick the tube in there and they put the globe in there.
The globe comes up through a tube. That's fun.
That's fierce. Like
right to the table.
It just pops up out of the centerpiece.
Mics everywhere. And when you do a Q&A and there's mics everywhere, you just pop up and give a speech. And
well, that's the other thing that's like, when they did the like, here's the nominee, and then they showed like a dropped pin of where they're sitting in the room.
I thought that was like, funny.
Not only do I not care where they want people to go online and be like, can you fucking believe that
they're baiting you? Yep.
They are rage baiting all of us to being like, can you believe that Jean Smart was in the top, was in like the higher tier?
She was at the bathroom.
And then this piece of shit was in the front row. Like,
Kylie Kardashian or whatever her name is. Jenner.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wishes it was Kardashian.
I know.
Jenner.
As someone who has struggled with their weight their whole lives, the cringiest moment of the night for me, I'm dead serious, was watching Jessica Gunning have to squeeze between all those fucking tables.
I know.
It was so...
How dare they?
It was so inconsiderate is the only word I can think of. It's like, how does that happen? Truly, how does that happen?
Truly. Yeah. Well, you're saying she should be on Ozempic. Is that what you're
100%. And I think Barbara Streisand should tell her publicly to get on it.
Yeah.
She should get a lap band tomorrow because she couldn't. No, that was bad. That was bad. Really
but she
bad.
Looked great. I thought that dress was amazing.
Yeah.
I love her.
She's beautiful.
Deserved the award. She did an incredible job. But yeah, that was a miss. That was bad. Like them squeezing through them, waiting to go to the table. I hated the pin drop. I know you guys liked it, but it was like,
I just thought it was
silly. To be messy on purpose. And I was like, can this just be an award show? But then I'm like, oh, it's the Golden Globes.
It's the Golden Globes.
Yeah. And I loved all the little facts that they were dropping out. I
did not mind them. Yeah.
I thought that they were wonderful and they were real, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
All right, for more broader strokes, we'll talk about Nikki. I think the three of us are in agreement. Like, she just
and today
knocked it out of the park.
She signed on for next year.
Perfect.
Right.
Yep, she was great. Guess I was a little worried. I don't know why, but she was great. I thought she was great. I thought she purposely didn't make Baldoni lively jokes. Great. I listened to a bunch of her jokes that she cut for Stern.
Jokes. Yeah.
When she was on Stern, which was like, and that's so fun that she
what a smart That's so
Yes.
smart for her to go on and be
That's
like,
what I
here's all the jokes
mean.
that were like too
Yeah.
racy.
Like a real comedian,
yes.
like making the rounds after. It's sort of like, I felt a little like old school, like camaraderie.
It felt like a real comedian.
Yes.
Like, and
Yeah.
she said that she went on the red carpet, she like rehearsed it 93 times,
yeah.
she said. Like
Yeah.
that, thank you.
Yeah, and she
Thank you.
Well, not only that, but she tried it out. She's been at clubs every
Yeah.
night for like the past 3 weeks, I think, trying,
Yes.
like doing hit or miss with all these, which
Yeah.
is like,
She's like a household name now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this was her moment to like level up, and she
Yeah.
did it.
yeah, like she was already a star, you know, but
Yeah.
this was a Star is Born moment where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you could Johnny Carson this for the rest of your, like,
Yeah.
you could be 75, 80 years old still doing this the way, I don't think
Yeah.
he was that old, but
And she had
he
funny.
looked it.
She
Yeah.
was mean. She wasn't like
mean.
Ricky Gervais mean,
Yeah.
but it was like she was roasting you.
Roasty mean.
It was
Yeah.
roasting, but then she had funny jokes. She had stupid stuff.
Yeah.
She had all the different flavors, and she didn't do like dumb bullshit.
Mhm.
The only thing that was like gonna be dumb bullshit that turned into in my opinion, the funniest joke of the night was when she put the Pope hat on and
Yes.
had this
Popular,
thing
yeah.
and did
Yeah.
popular, and then after
isn't
truly
working.
5 seconds of it, turned around and said, "What? What are you saying? This is horrible."
The whole thing is shit.
And the whole thing is shit. It's really bad. Okay, so cut to this, like,
Yeah.
hilarious.
I had many favorite lines, but my 2 favorite lines of the night were, oh, look, there's 2-time Holocaust survivor Adrian Brody.
Incredible.
That to me was the joke of the night.
Yes.
But then secondly, and she kind of said it under her breath when she said, the hardest working actors are in the room tonight. They are your servers. And
Mhm.
while everyone's clapping, she says, they're the ones that are going to bring you the cocktails that you're going to drink and the food that you're going to look at.
yeah. I mean, her first joke was, "It's the Golden Globes, Ozempic's biggest night." Incredible. She did great.
She towed the line.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
perfect.
She still was true to her base of
Correct.
people who want, like, it was perfect.
It was perfect.
She must be walking on air. And it's,
She should
again,
be.
it's like giving me
Yeah.
chills. Like when you made the Johnny Carson comment, I got a little
No,
chills
for real.
because like we need
That. Yeah.
you know, we need that. We need
Yeah.
this again. Like we've been doing this now for 25 years, this podcast and reviewing the Globes,
Sure, yeah.
and reviewing the Oscars.
Yes.
And every year we say the same thing, which is, you know, old this, old that. We need this, we need that.
No,
And
she did it.
she did it.
She
Like,
did it.
she
It
did
really
it.
is
Yeah.
it is goosebumpy.
Goosebumpy.
Even
Yeah.
like as a comic to know,
Yeah.
like, she's like achieved the ultimate thing.
Yeah.
Like she could actually host the Oscars. Like
Yeah.
she was
Yes,
polished
correct.
enough
Yes.
to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Who's hosting the Oscars?
What's his name? Conan O'Brien.
God.
Oh, right. Oh, right.
I'm glad they made him.
What's
I'm
his
glad I
name?
made an impression.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Lewis.
Yeah.
what he
Emmanuel
has, yes.
Webster, ma'am, sir. Yeah. Great. So,
She didn't.
You had to ma'am and sir right after Webster.
She did great. She looked great.
She looks
looked great.
fantastic.
I mean,
Great.
her lips could have used another day to settle, but that's fine.
Yeah, no, that is what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
We're breezing right
when
past
she
that.
Yeah.
said, by the way, Cynthia and Ariana, I want to like segue. I think they should be a separate section,
Yeah.
but like their reactions to every joke, just I wanted to punch them both. I was getting so annoyed. Like,
Oh no, I loved it.
they were playing along with it too much. I wanted them to just like laugh.
Yeah.
When they said, when Nikki Glaser said she didn't know much about Wicked because she had friends in high school, I almost fell off my couch.
Yeah, incredible.
It was insane.
But
it
I
was
liked
so good.
that she engaged, that like she knew what to do with them, and she was
Yeah.
like, "Ariana, hold my finger," and then they recreated the finger hold.
Mhm.
Like it was all like, sure, yes, but like it was funny.
Yeah.
I loved Wicked. My boyfriend loved Wicked. My boyfriend's boyfriend
loved-
really loved it.
Wicked.
Incredible. When Jeff Goldblum and
Michelle
Michelle
Yeoh.
Yeoh went up and did their thing, and she was like trying to say "boots the house down," and they like had to repeat it to her to say it. Like hilarious.
Yes. I think Ariana is not going to be her authentic self for another
No, she's
5 years.
She's an alien now. She's an
she's
alien.
gone.
Yeah,
She's like,
gone.
this is my Hollywood persona now, and I have to
Uh-huh.
act like
Yes.
this.
Yeah,
And we're going to get that for 5 more years.
yes.
Yeah.
And I'm lining up to.
Yeah.
Here we
Here
are.
you are.
Here we are watching
Here
it
we
happen.
are. Yeah.
The Jeff Goldblum Michelle Yeoh bit ended up being funny,
Mhm.
but it took.
It started,
It made me
yeah.
uncomfortable getting there.
Well,
And these are not.
let's
comedians.
segue.
Like,
Let's segue into our next part is other presenters
Mm.
yeah.
because we were doing so well. We were doing so well on these award shows, and they
I thought of you. I thought of you, Chris. I thought of you.
Right back into my least
Yeah.
favorite thing
It's
when
so
they're like,
except for that bit with Michelle Yeoh, and I have to say, I just like the Seth Rogen.
that was hilarious. That one was great.
Because
that went on too long, but it was very funny.
but very funny.
But very funny.
But when the Adriana DeBois, that
Yeah.
I had to almost walk away. I was like, I can't.
She's got to stop.
Enough. Like,
she has to stop appearing as Adriana DeBose in public.
I think you're like, everyone should listen to Chris. Like, this is the thing. It's like, what would happen if we produced a, I was thinking this, like, because obviously we're never going to, never say never.
Never say never, Rebecca.
We're not going to, we could produce the Golden
sentence.
Globes, but like, Chris's number one note for everyone would be, we're not doing shtick. We'll do a couple shtick. We'll do really well-written shtick, but we're going to just do like, okay, here we are. You want to just do straight ahead, Chris, right? Like, you want to be like, we are presenting best animated.
Not even that, but like make a couple jokes. Like when what was it? The Emmys? The Emmys was the last one. Everyone that went up, they didn't do like, film editing is just so crazy, especially when you're the director and you're always in the bay with them. Like, you're there, right? When you're a director and the other person's like, yeah, of course I am. Like when they do these forced bad on purpose SNL versions of like presenting the award. At the Emmys, remember it was like Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena went up and they like each had a like tight one of like jokes that was just funny.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I was like, just be funny.
That's the thing. When it works, you want to see it, but when it doesn't work, that's when you think we should
so
do
bad.
It.
Yes.
So bad. It's like, know who's presenting. So if you have a Seth Rogen and a Catherine O'Hara, and the way that they had the Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Yeoh, sure. But if it's just like two straighty normies, just have them say film editing is an important part of this, and I always respect my editor. And here we go.
Can't you believe like can you believe how great everyone looks here tonight? Like, look at Nicole Kidman's hair.
Yeah.
Like, there's no editor in the world that would want to edit that. It'd be a continuity error.
Yeah.
Like, I just made that up off the top of my head. But
oh my God.
Anything
guys,
like that.
Hire Chris.
Guys, I'm a writer. Call me a writer right here.
I have to say, despite her dress getting in Awkwafina's face, I loved the Melissa McCarthy bit.
Same.
Yes.
Loved it.
Yes. Yeah. That was funny. Like, I laughed. Like, I hate the like bad acting on purpose, trying to be SNL and not doing it. And then it's about like sound mixing. I'm like, what's happening?
Well, to be honest with you, like some of them were badly written, and the Golden Globe should apologize to Kathy Bates for that bit they made her do. She clearly didn't want to do it. She was just trying to be a good sport. Her great moment of the night came when Anna Sawai won for Shogun, and it was like Kathy Bates just on camera ripping her acceptance speech up. That's the Kathy Bates that we love.
Yes.
Dragging her ass out to do that ridiculous bit. Shame on you both. That was a rare miss for the night, but then it was like, that was not a good one. Like, she deserved better than that.
But also to be like, whenever he was like, this is like an absolute legend in front of me, just like let that be the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know? Anyway.
Presenters. Vin Diesel, I have this to say. When Vin Diesel walked out, I thought it was Colin Farrell as the Penguin presenting the award.
How dare you? I thought he looked good.
How dare he?
I thought he looked good. I love him so much. I love him. I don't care.
I'm on the Rock side. I am in the feud. I'm on the Rock side.
I am
but
neutral
Vin
in
Diesel,
this.
It is well documented. I am bizarrely a huge fan of the Fast and Furious franchise and of a film he did called Triple X a while ago.
Oh my God. Like, that was his star turn.
I love it. I love it. But I really thought that he looked like Colin Farrell. But he was way too smug in the shit he was saying, and he might have turned me off for life. He also said hi, Dwayne, when he came out. Did you see that?
They fight. I didn't even know that they're in like a fight.
Big time fight.
Yep.
Big time fight.
Bro.
Yeah. I mean, that's supposed to be they made up, maybe. I don't know. But I think they had sex backstage. So
probably.
Yeah.
Last presenter thing I want to say, I have 2 words. Selma Hayek.
No, sorry, you have 3.
Pardon me. You know what? I'm never going to say it. I'm glad you said that because I'm never going to say it. How dare she and Mr. Pinot. How dare you both? Salma Hayek is, I mean, she definitely had a few glasses of champagne before she came out. There's absolutely no doubt.
Who amongst?
I love Salma Hayek, just so we're very clear about it. But she's like some sort of Mexican Kathleen Turner now. Is she not? When she comes out there, she's like, whoever she presented with was like, what was your favorite thing during the holidays? She goes, eating. No, I'm just kidding. It's cooking. I love everything about the holidays. There's no joke built into it. She's just there sounding like Kathleen Turner meets Shorey Aghdashloo, and they're just having like a party. Like, I don't know what she's doing, but I felt like she was mildly a mess, and I need her to stay that way. Like, I feel like I started re-falling for Salma Hayek during the House of Gucci press tour when she was looking at Gaga like she was an alien. But when she walked down the other day, just as the Golden Globe goes through, I'm like, who is this woman? I love her.
She's doing like Dean Martin at like the end of a broadcast where he's like completely blacked out. Do you know what I mean?
Wasted, smoking.
She's doing Charo if Charo ever actually aged.
Yes.
Gucci. Who did she present with? Now I can't even fucking think of it.
I don't even know. It doesn't even matter because
it was someone ridiculous. It was like someone she'd met on the walk out.
Yeah, it's like the guy from Lyle, and I'm making this up, but you know, like the guy from Eric and Lyle Menendez or something.
Yeah.
Cooper.
By the way, when Richard Gadd went up to accept the Golden Globe for Bad Reindeer,
baby reindeer.
I'm sorry, what did I call it?
Bad
reindeer.
Bad reindeer. Oh my God.
Baby reindeer.
Okay, that I smoked right before we came here. I apologize. Baby reindeer. When he walked up there, they were dropping some of those factoids on the walk up that I thought were shocking considering like they're being sued. Like he basically said Richard Gadd's stalker sent him 41,000 emails, some of which appeared in the actual they said all the emails in the show were emails from his stalker, and she sent 41,000. I was like, isn't that woman suing you?
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, is this tape gonna go into
into Discovery?
Trial footage?
Yeah, it's in Discovery. Yeah.
Like just like we're proving our point here. Yeah. I mean public is for you if that's what it is. Can you imagine getting 41,000 emails from your stalker? I wish.
No. Yeah.
If my email, can you say my email address at the end of the show, Chris?
So that Brad Pitt can email you, Rebecca?
Please.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are two more presenters I want to mention just for sexual reasons. The first of them is Andrew Garfield. I cannot.
That picture of him putting on his glasses and
biting his lip, tweaking his tit, adjusting his collar. And like people are like, everything Andrew Garfield does is on purpose.
Yes.
And he got out there to make a formal announcement that he's a zaddy.
Yeah.
And he just put on his glasses and he did all they broke down each of his movements.
Yeah.
He looks great.
He looks that was better than Baby Girl for me. Like that moment was a Baby Girl moment for me. Yeah.
And the last one is Morris Chestnut. I vividly remember quelling my naturally wanting to say the word ooh in college when Boys in the Hood came out and he was in it, and he looks exactly the same.
Yeah, he's so hot.
Yeah.
Like, I know that he's never he's always worked, but he's worked on stuff that I haven't seen.
Should we discuss what's upcoming? It's Watson on CBS, so I guess I'm gonna have to take a look at that.
Didn't you put on your story? You're like, guess I have to watch this now or something.
Is he the titular role?
Yeah, I think it's like in the trailer. It was like, we're not just doctors, we're also detectives, and I was like, well, I guess I'm watching that.
Wow, he looks fucking amazing.
He looks great. I love him.
He came out there in that tangerine head to toe suit, and you have to be a certain kind of hot to pull that off. And I think he is. And I thought he
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Did Jeremy Strong present anything at the awards or just himself as an ass?
I think we have to start soon. We have to go on to fashions.
Let's do it now. Have him kick it off.
I think at first I was like in shock that he was Jeremy LL Cool J Strong, but he
was playing his character as remember he's like the white rapper and
in Succession.
Succession, yeah.
But I was like, you know what? I don't hate this. Like,
Stop,
good for
Rebecca.
you. Good for you. Good for you. Good for
Me
you.
neither.
Yeah.
Rebecca.
Yeah.
I mean, was it mildly clownish? Yeah.
Yes.
Was it supposed to be? I think also, yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. He irks me.
Yes.
Just baseline irks me in general. And then to
like
do
dramaturgically or in other ways?
Yes. Dramaturgically, he irks me. And then to have him show up and like, yes, it's a joke, but he's also dead ass serious, which makes I was like, he needs to go to prison. Like
100% sure.
Hate it. And on top of all of it, like I thought it didn't look good. Like I didn't like it. And then it was him doing it. And I'm like, you are such a loser.
By the way, Rebecca, in the Pre-Fixe for today's podcast, Chris put RuPaul in jail for daring to have Katy Perry as a guest on
and make the Queen's lip sync to
Women's World.
Thank you.
I can see that.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Good.
That gasp said it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
I think Chris DeRosa's Federal Penitentiary should be a sitcom because like seeing Jeremy Strong and RuPaul in the same cell for crimes against pop culture. I love this show.
I love it. That is a good idea.
I just
wait till Rebecca hears about Craig Rothfeld. She's going to want this number also.
You're going to die.
We'll tell you after this who Craig Rothfeld is.
I just find him to be so losery. Is that, you know? And
I
he's like he's too self-serious with himself and has shown the whole world.
And you know what he gets
to do something like this
is that Kieran Culkin keeps beating him at every
shot.
Did you see his face whenever he didn't win and Kieran Culkin won?
I mean, and not even for the show they were on together, you know?
Yep. But he beat him there too.
Yeah.
In the same category last year.
He was like, he watched him and he went just like everything. That Kangol hat, that bucket hat fell right in front of him.
Because he's never going to be the number one boy.
No, he's never going to be the number one boy in real life.
Never.
He more Jeremy Strong than Kieran, but he really is Kendall.
Yeah. It's wild. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a no for me, dog, to quote
what I will say is Nicole Kidman's right breast, whatever, looked great. Just looked great. Also, defo boob job, baby girl, gorge.
The last remaining, how the last showgirl, Pamela Anderson? We need the last movie star. That's what we need her movie to be next.
Her, Kathy Bates, and Margaret Qualley with the bumpets. I was like, okay, love it. Yeah, sure.
Kathy Bates was among, since we're in the fashion quadrant here, she was among the best for me, only because it's sort of like you're just seeing someone you know and love, not going over the top, but like, this is how Kathy Bates dresses up for something like this, because I don't need to wear a stork around my neck
and
or a tangle hat.
She had sneakers on.
Yeah, loved her Skechers. Loved her Skechers,
and
honestly.
I was like, great.
Respect.
I did think Nicole Kidman looked good.
Incredible. She looked great. Her hair was incredible.
Yeah, incredible.
Like, it was overtaking the world, but like, that's what, wake up, people.
Yeah. And I think by far,
that's not even her hair. You know that, right?
Of course not.
No, because before she goes to an award show, they slaughter a holy Afghan in Tibet and immediately fly it over to Los Angeles, and they place it while it's freshly deceased on Nicole's head. It's $1 million hairdo.
And for the Oscars, what she does is the day after the Oscars, Keith Urban grows his hair out, and every 2 weeks he cuts it and they save it. And then 2 weeks before the Oscars, they weave it into her wig. And that is what she wears to the Oscars.
Wait, how about whenever Nikki was like, Keith, thank God you played guitar so badly.
To make her want to leave the house. To his face, she made fun of him. Yeah.
Oh, it was so great. And he was looking Meg Ryan as ever. He was.
Yeah,
oh my God, the Megist. I mean, the tips were frosted. The jags were jagged. It was... He was giving you full Amanda Beers on Married with Children, like beyond.
Nicole looked at him at one point and said, "You've got mail?" Yeah. I thought Margaret Qualley
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
I would
thought
never
she
have recognized her,
I
even
thought
after
she
having
looked
seen
great.
the substance.
Yeah.
But to me, Demi Moore looked
Demi Moore, I think, is best dressed.
winner. Like she looked amazing. That speech was. There's
We have
always.
I can't get to the speech yet. We have to do a whole thing on the speech.
The
but
She
speech
looked
was
amazing. I thought
Zoe Saldana
Yeah.
was. I think she would probably just fashion alone is tied with me.
Yeah,
with
she looked great.
to me.
Yeah, she looked great.
She looks incredible. I loved Anna Saiwai's dress.
Oh,
I know it was
she's so sweet.
Okay, she looked great, and she had to walk in the dress like she walked in the show, like she was always in a kimono.
She's like bound.
It was like this little, because she's like wrapped up in a kimono.
Shuffle.
So she would do these little tiptoey steps, and I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Kerry Washington, no thank you.
Oh, those gloves.
Hated that dress. Hated those gloves.
Didn't love it. Didn't love it.
Same thing with Ali Wong, and I love her so much.
But I thought
her
it was a little wacky.
It was like embolism stocking glove.
Got it.
Like it wasn't like
a
chic silk glove. Do you know what I mean?
I couldn't really even get a read on what it was. Like, I don't know if I liked it or not because it was so hard to read.
No,
I thought I liked her glasses and her dress was a little wacky, but and that's her.
It was like it wasn't. I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't.
Speaking of hard to read, by the way, Glenn Close. I don't with the lettering. I love Glenn. Glenn Close can do no wrong except for that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was written on her dress. I couldn't. Even with my glasses on, I couldn't read it.
Yeah. So Io Adebre channeled that Julia Roberts looked, and I thought that it was a bit of a miss for me. But
I kind of liked it.
Okay.
I thought it was fun. I like when someone does something different like that. I think she's funny. Like I'm into her.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Timothy Chalamet doing like Ozempic version of like Howard Stern. Like it's like Howard Stern meets like, I don't even know what.
Yeah.
Like, a chimney sweep. It was like, he's so weird.
Thing is, I don't think he is weird, but he's trying to be weird.
Yeah,
because
you're right.
I'm sorry, if you're dating a Jenner or a Kardashian, you're not weird.
Sure. He's like, I mean, he is giving a little Scott Disick too.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And you know that I've like multiple times almost shaved my facial hair into that kind of facial hair. And I've stopped myself every time. And I'm like, I kind of want to do it just to see what it would be like. And it wouldn't take that long to grow back. But like,
try.
I'm
first day on set.
But then I stopped again because I was what
if first day on set you do that, you wear a suit with like a scarf and just see what anyone
see what people say to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah.
Zendaya, Dominic and I have already discussed this.
Yeah.
She's my loser for the night, I think.
Really? I've heard people
I think
loved
it's a miss.
it.
I think it
interesting. Why? Do you think it washed her out?
I didn't like the color of the dress. I didn't like the color of her hair that matched the dress. It looked like, and she did that like 90s supermodel hair, like old Hollywood before. And it was like earth-shatteringly great. Yeah. And so this was like her trying to reclaim that, and it didn't work for me. What I did like was that she wore a necklace, because when I tell you every single other person that wore a like strapless dress did not wear a necklace, and it was, and I get like Janelle James did it, and I thought it was gorgeous. Like I thought she looked incredible. Loved her little micro wig. Like loved her black dress. Yeah. But like this.
Oh, I don't think I saw her. I'm going to pull her up.
She looked great. You're going to be obsessed.
And what did you think of, and I know she's doing a film, so there's not much she could do, but Emma Stone's hair, like she had to shave her hair for a role. I thought she looked cute.
I thought she looked cute. But again, like give me a huge necklace with that and huge earrings, and it would be like old Hollywood glamour. Even this Mikey Madison from Honora, like dress is pretty, but like needs a big necklace that's like va-va-voom, like gold diamond with it to be Hollywood. It was so, and I get the like not wearing the necklace on purpose thing, but it was like everyone was doing it, so it made it not cool. Yeah, you know.
Yes.
Oh, Janelle James looks so good.
Did you discuss? I don't remember her middle name. Miley blank Cyrus.
Miley Destiny Hope Cyrus. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was okay.
She didn't move the needle for me. I mean, I barely saw her during the show.
I can't stand I'm a Tay head. The veneers, I can't stand the veneers like that. I just can't stand veneers like that. And Taylor has veneers like that. I mean, Miley's are more pronounced. I just find it lacks personality, and it distracts me. That's like my own personal thing. It distracts me.
Can we talk about Sharon Stone's live audition to play Dorinda Medley in the Real Housewives motion picture?
Tom is about to cast her.
earth?
So yeah. Yeah.
What on earth?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. There were multiple times where as she is speaking, she just like opens her eyes up crazily and is like staring into the souls of everyone in America.
I was literally like, if this woman says I made it nice, I'm going to know this is deliberate. Here's your globe. I made it nice. She was giving me such Dorinda energy the entire time.
When she came out, I was like, this woman is in a realm, like in a reality that none of the rest of us are in.
Yes.
Like, and she is bonkers.
She's barely in it.
Yeah.
Bonkers. I truly like, I want to drink with Sharon Stone so bad. And I want to smoke weed on the beach with Colin Farrell so bad. I don't want to get drunk with him. He's like the perfect, he's not in your face all the time because he's obviously got a life, but every time he pops up, I'm like, you want to hang out with him so badly. He's the perfect celebrity.
That speech for me, even before he thanked craft service, which, it just tickles me, but like just the joke about like how natural, oh yeah, the penguin, that was all me, all natural. Like and it's just, he's funny and
his self-deprecating stuff, like you've got to be, it's got to be the right person to do that, and they've got to really mean it. It can't be a put on, and it's not a put on with him. Like and I don't hear anything bad about him. I don't know if you guys do, but you rarely read anything. Like,
I thought back in the day he was a little, but who knows? But
well, I think because he was a playboy, right?
Yeah, he was a playboy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love him. The Fanning sisters, I thought, oh gosh, which one is Dakota? Was the one?
I thought Dakota looked good. She had the red on.
I thought Dakota looked great. I thought, Els was a bit of a miss for me, but they're beautiful. Like they're just so gorgeous. You know what I mean? Like they're just like these pale creatures who,
Do you think that Anya Taylor-Joy is their god? Speaking of pale creatures,
no. You want to talk about aliens?
A wood nymph at this point.
She like disappeared into the background when they were taking the pictures, because of the background was gold, and I was like, I can't even see you. You're a ghost person.
She's so beautiful though.
Yeah.
I mean, that bone.
She looks like actual Tinkerbell.
She literally does. Yes.
She was doing like Gwyneth Paltrow Oscars anime cosplay.
Yeah. Wow. Yes. What did you think about your girl, Ariana, Chris?
I loved it, but I can see where everyone else was like, what the fuck is this? But like, I thought it was beautiful.
It's vintage and old Hollywood. I just, how I feel about she's so tiny.
Yeah.
Tiny.
They've both gotten so very angular.
Yeah.
Well, they're like they've been run ragged by the freaking press tour. They haven't eaten in months. You know what I mean? They're like getting bussed around every 5 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that I'm seeing on like the CNN style thing that like, I'm like, I didn't even see you here.
Like who?
Like the hot priest. What's his name?
Yeah. Ripley with
Andrew Scott. Yeah.
Andrew Scott. Yeah.
He was in like a seafoam green suit.
Loved it.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Was Jonathan Bailey there? I didn't see him.
I don't think he was there.
No.
And he would have been at
he would have been on camera the whole time.
100%. They would have,
Selena, what did you think?
I thought Selena looked great.
Cute.
I loved the old Hollywood hair. I loved the old
traditional,
blue, that like periwinkle blue Hollywood dress. I thought she looked great.
Yeah,
she did look great.
Yeah.
She's also play acting at being an actress. Like her and Ariana are doing this play acting thing. And this is what you mean. Who are real Hollywood celebrities, and that's why they're not Nicole Kidman, because they're sort of like play acting a role, and Nicole Kidman doesn't have to act at being who she is. Demi Moore doesn't have to act at being who she is, and you could just feel them being. They have such imposter syndrome being in that room.
Loved Kate Blanchett's look, even though I'm sure everyone else hated it, but I love whenever she wears like weird grandma-y things.
No,
like
I
that.
thought she was.
I love her.
What about that Bob Dylan joke was so funny that Nikki Glaser said about. Yeah. What did you think of
Bob Dylan heard it and said it was so accurate that it was horrible. Yes. Something along those lines. Can we talk about Kerry Russell dressing as David Byrne? Like, what was her? What
Yeah.
on earth was that? She was wearing an end table.
Yeah.
It was very much like Carol Burnett as Scarlett O'Hara in that sketch on the Carol Burnett show.
Tilda, what do we think of Tilda?
Just being Tilda. Tilda being an alien. Yeah.
Love
when
it.
Nikki Glaser congratulated Tilda Swinton on playing Timothy Chalamet, I needed salts because I thought it was so funny. And so did Tilda Swinton, which made me fall more in love with her.
What about Tilda and Anya Taylor-Joy being like in a movie?
They
with
should be
the
like a mother-daughter duo, like where they, or like fighting crime, or like
they should have been in The Substance.
Yeah, they're The Substance.
I was going to say Casper, the Friendly Ghost. Okay.
Should we start talking about speeches?
Yeah. I mean, Zoe's speech though was great. I love her.
She did great, and I think she did great in the movie.
Yeah.
Like I think she deserved a nomination at least. I think she did great in the movie. Yeah. Obviously, Demi Moore's speech, guys, top 3 ever.
Yeah, great.
No, Dominic?
It was so good. No, it was so good. I mean, it was by far the best of the night.
100%, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But like the things I'm seeing online, they're like, guys, remember that the speech is being said by Demi Moore, like who we hold as like one of the hottest and like most beautiful and like most well-respected actors to ever exist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it was everything we needed. It was great. I loved it.
I think that as she's saying it, I'm like, we're never, as a species, we're never satisfied.
No.
We're never going to be satisfied. Like, you dream of being someone like Demi Moore. And when Demi Moore is like, I'm ready to pack it in, I'm unsatisfied. It's like, of course your initial reaction should be like, well, at least you're not washing dishes for a living. But really my reaction was, it doesn't matter who you are. You're just never going to be satisfied.
No, they always
going to compare yourself to other people.
No matter who, you could be the hottest person alive, and there's always someone that's hotter than you that's out of your reach. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like,
and I loved seeing her in HD. I loved like that she let her skin, because she looked incredible. She looked incredible. She's 62 years old. Also, Zoe Saldana is 46.
Yeah,
and she looks much
25.
She looks the same,
younger than that.
Yeah.
Now I liked her speech. I thought it went on a little long, and I thought I'm an emotional person and a showgirl myself, but the histrionics before she got to the stage, I'm like, baby, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, bursting into tears and hugging everyone. It's a get up there. You're the first award. You're doing the nightmare. The director wants to now give this award to Diane Wiest.
Yeah.
And she's not even nominated. Get up there.
I wish. I haven't seen
Diane Wiest for Emilia Perez.
Penis and vagina.
Dominic, I need you to record yourself seeing penis and vagina.
I will text you the moment it happens.
Scream bloody murder.
I have to watch The Substance. I'm nervous.
I haven't either.
Should
we watch it together? I'm so scared.
Maybe.
I know. I'm so scared.
I'm scared.
I'm scared. I'm going to be like hurling all over my apartment.
It belonged in the comedy category, but it's definitely like sci-fi horror.
Right. Body horror, whatever they call it.
And it's gory. I mean, there are gory moments, but it's not scary.
The woman who won, I'm so sorry, I can't remember her name, Fernanda, who won.
Yeah, the one that it was like every A-list actor that's American, and then this one woman, and she won.
I watched Baby Girl, Emilia Perez, Arroyo Payne. I watched all these movies that weekend to, thinking, okay, these are the people who are going to win.
Sure.
And I did for a second read a couple people say maybe Fernanda would win. I thought her speech, I believe her that she didn't write anything down, because people are saying, oh, maybe Pamela Anderson, maybe, definitely Nicole Kidman.
No, it was truly like, like all these titans.
I love when people give beautiful off the cuff speeches.
Yeah,
and
too.
And it is true. The only other Brazilian woman who was nominated and won was her mother.
Yeah.
It's just like beautiful. And I have that movie to watch, and I'm looking forward to it.
Does Angelina Jolie need another Golden Globe? Like, no, she doesn't.
No, and I've heard not a lick about that. Nobody is talking about that movie. Not one person.
She may not get nominated.
I don't know if she will.
Will it ever? Is it even out? Like,
it's on Netflix. Is it on Netflix? It might be on Netflix.
Wait, are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. I think, is it on Netflix?
It is absolutely on Netflix. It's been on there for weeks.
Okay. Is it?
That's crazy.
Fact check, Chris.
Wait, that's crazy.
No, I've seen it on Netflix. I've watched, my roommate watched it in front of me.
Okay.
My dad's review of Maria.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I believe he said, how dare Angelina Jolie, like how dare, like something about the arrogance of this woman to assume this role and even try to sing part of it. That's what really pissed my dad off. It was like the absolute unmitigated gall.
What was the movie that?
Would you like to know my dad's review of Honora?
Oh,
Yes.
I liked Honora. Go ahead.
Once a whore, always a whore.
Oh my God.
That is his
not
one.
wrong.
I mean, hey.
Hey, I saw it.
Is he talking about his own son? I don't know.
What was the Francis?
Who's gonna break it to him? You just watched my biography. P.S. I don't think we've talked about it on this pod before. Honora's a great movie.
I liked it a lot.
I haven't seen it yet.
I loved it.
Very good.
It.
When it got nominated for Best Under Comedy, I was like, and then I was like, no, I laughed. Like I did laugh.
Yeah. There are a couple of scenes in there that are definitely like intense, but on the whole, it is
it's like that old school, like New York, running around New York. Well, not Midnight Run. What am I thinking of with it'll come to
Taxi Driver.
I've never heard of that.
The French Connection, running around New York.
Gangs of New York?
No, the one with Griffin Dunn.
Sex in the City? Who's that girl?
Home Alone 2.
Griffin Dunn, the Griffin Dunn movie. Hold on.
The con artist, the escape artist, the pickup artist.
Catch Me If You Can.
You talk. I'm coming up with this.
I'm trying to think of what the movie is without looking
Or am
it
I
up.
making this up? Do you think I'm making this up?
I think it's going to be something.
After Hours.
Oh!
Yeah.
My God.
After Hours. It's like that vibe. I mean, After Hours is a little more funny, but and less sad at the end like that. But I love seeing dirty New York like that. So it's great.
It's great. She'll be nominated for an Oscar.
She's great.
And she deserves to be. She was fantastic.
She's great. She was great in Better Things, right? That was the TV show she was in.
Which I didn't watch.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. I liked it.
Yeah. I need to watch it.
Yeah.
Any other, closing thoughts? I feel like we did it, but like.
Did we do it? What do we, Dom, give us some closing thoughts.
The last thing that I really want to say is that I have always, my entire life, been a huge fan of when someone is speaking in an American accent and then a name of Latin or Spanish origin comes across their tongue and they have to speak it with what feels like an overly thick Latin or Spanish accent.
Yeah.
And watching people choose whether or not to do that the entire night with Emilia Perez was the highlight of the night for me. Like, Zoe Saldana started her speech saying Emilia Perez every time and then closed it by just saying Amelia Perez twice. And it just reminded me of growing up and watching Alex Trebek on Jeopardy. I used to love when he would give a clue and say, it's the nation next to the Central American nation, Nicaragua. And I would just be like, Alex, with the accent. And that's what people were doing all night. It was like, which white person is going to dare do Emilia Perez? You know what they should have done? Every time someone was supposed to say the words Emilia Perez, they should have just dubbed in Salma Hayek saying Emilia Perez.
When she's like drunk as shit.
My favorite thing about the holidays was watching Emilia Perez on Netflix and singing this song, Penis into Vagina, to my husband, Henri Pinault, the world's third richest man. Why do I even work? Why do I have a job when I am married to Henri? Why am I here? Why?
Okay, a few closing thoughts from me. Wicked won the Dominic Pupa Box Office Award. The one that you're never forget that your fix for the Oscars was this exact award that they then made into the Golden Globes.
And their speech was like, this movie is going to save the world. And everyone's like, I don't think it is, though.
They were like,
it's not.
They were like, okay. Like, they were like, no, we all loved it. But like, huh? Like, and you know what I will say, though, too, is like, a lot of the categories, it would be like, it was very like haphazard with the different, like a very strange array of films put together in this, and shows too.
I think that's just like very Golden Globes-y.
Yeah, I guess that's what
you know, it is.
I remember
very,
being like, oh, all these people are in the same category together.
Yeah.
Like, what a weird
Yeah.
mash up of people. It just was very,
Yeah.
you know.
That's why we have to like nail it down with the Emmys and the Oscars. It's like you need to separate and sort of.
I'm really wondering why at a certain point, Salma Hayek didn't look at Coleman Domingo and say, who are you? Because she definitely didn't know who he was.
Wait, so now we know it was Coleman Domingo?
Yes, I was silently Googling while you were all
Okay.
talking about other things.
I thought it was a good time. I think you're absolutely right, Chris. It's a smattering of weird things. You know my feelings about The Bear being a comedy. It's not.
It's not.
Enough.
Hence why they got like basically shut out other than Jeremy Allen White. Like,
Yeah.
No, it got Best Comedy, didn't?
Wait.
Oh, no, it didn't.
How?
No, did
No,
it?
Hacks
it was
did.
Hacks.
Hacks. You're
Hacks
right.
went rightfully so. by
Yeah,
the way.
rightfully so.
The best show on
Rightfully so.
TV.
Love Hacks.
Run,
yeah.
do not walk if you've not seen it, everyone.
You have to. Do we think, so I had this discussion at work today. Do we think he made that comment about directors getting final cut
I think so, right?
against that? Or do you think it was just coincidence? For some reason, I'm like, does he know what's going on? But he must, right? I don't know.
What did it mean? And he said, this is like
It's
a
great.
controversial take. And I was like, huh, is it? But then I was like, oh, it is because that's what you're talking about?
Well, he was kind of saying more that the studios, not really like.
like the
he
director
wasn't-
should make their film and the studio doesn't step in.
the final
Okay.
cut.
Then no, I don't think he has
exactly.
any idea what even who Justin Baldoni even is.
But all of us in
yes.
our worlds, we all thought the same thing. I had this discussion at work too, because we all thought the same thing. But yeah. But also, how dare you? Do not read a speech off your phone like that. It was boring and had no emotion.
And also, moving along.
We are almost out of time. So real quick, what are the 3 things you will remember the most from this year's Golden Globes? Mine will be Demi Moore and her speech, Nikki Glaser's performance, and quite frankly, Jeremy Strong's outfit. I mean, those are the 3 things that will endure.
Yeah, I'm going to say Demi, Nikki, and that Diddy was able to do an after party even with him being in jail. Like that was great. Yeah.
I have to say Demi, Nikki, honestly, it was like the phone's going off. Like I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life.
You're right.
Like hearing like
whatever it
the
is.
phone's going off in the background, and you would hear people like talking, like you would hear them all being like blah 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 blah, and then it'd be like, they'd be back, and it would be like everyone would be like, shh, shh, and like the people ducking out of the way. It looked so bad. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well,
we did it.
We did
As
it.
Chris would say, we
the
did it.
99th episode of this here podcast is over.
No way.
Yep. Next week's the big 100.
Oh,
Yeah.
99 Luft balloons. Here we are. And can I plug something?
Yes,
Please.
I actually have something to plug. This podcast comes out on January 8th, and you can watch on Discovery ID Aaron Hernandez and the Untold Murders of Bristol tonight at 9 p.m. on ID, and it will be streaming on Max. So you can watch 2 hours of that. And if you wouldn't mind just streaming that every day for Rebecca.
the rest of
So
your
she
life,
can-
for
the rest of your life, so she can have a job. Just you could leave the house and just keep it on, and whatever else comes on after that. And then next week, that leads into our premiere of Murder Under the Friday Night Lights season 4 that is
Whoa.
on ID, and then we'll be streaming on Max. So
I love hearing
please-
specific plugs from you. You're normally
Thank
just like
you.
watch
I
reality
know.
television, and now
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah. Please watch Aaron Hernandez and the Untold Murders of Bristol, Discover ID and Max, and then Murder Under the Friday Night Lights, Discover ID and Max. And thank you for having me as always.
Dominic, where can people find you?
the website's dominterry.com. The bar is the duplex. And I'm going to start circulating some clips from the holiday tour. And Chris, but as you tell our listeners where they can find you on the World Wide Web, do you want to give them a reminder about the new feature?
You can find me at the Chris DeRosa. You can find the show at Fixing Famous People. You can find the Patreon at patreon.com/Fixing Famous People, where even free members are now going to be a part of our Patreon chat. So if you are looking for community with other listeners, just go there. You don't even have to pay $1.
There are no nudes in there, though, unfortunately.
No.
In the free chat.
You can do a Rebecca ask me anything, and I will write back all lies. You can ask me anything.
You can ask me anything. I'll just lie to you. I wish you both well. And as always, let's say it together very slowly.
It gets slower every time. She's going to be dead by the time we're done saying it.
Where's Shelley? Goodbye.